good evening, and good evening. Welcome to an exclusive interview on this Sunday night. I know a lot of people probably watching the game, or you just chilling out, mellowing just to get yourself ready for the work week. But I thought it would be a very appropriate time to bring my healing practitioner sisters on because we have a discussion tonight. We have a discussion. We're going to talk about non-traditional healing practices. And I have my fellow sisters here, Jamela Marshall and Gina Walton here, because we want to set the record straight. So what we want like you to do is like and share this because it is some comments, some questions. If you have those, because that's what we want to hear and we want to bring forth to the audience about some things and stigmas. But you know what? What I want to say is I am tired of our community, our BIPOC people who are dying from chronic diseases. Can I say that again?
Yes,
How many of you are tired? Because I'm telling you, I am so tired of going to funerals because of heart issues, diabetes, stuff that we should have in control, but also with using some of these non-traditional practices. And we're going to go a little taboo about that too as well. But ladies, welcome. And I want to say thank you guys so much for saying yes to this conversation that we're going to dive into. So I'm going to start with Jamila. So Jamila's background, she is a holistic woman wellness. She has an integrative healing arts, and she's board certified hypnotherapist. Look, I'm looking at that kind of hypnotherapy too. So welcome, Jamila. Thank you.
Thank you, friend. It's Jamila. Okay.
Jamila. Sorry,
yes,
Jamila.
okay.
Thank you, Jamila.
Yes.
And next we're going to have here Miss Gina T. Walton. Well, Miss Gina here, she is also a life coach. She is a holistic psychology professor, metaphysics, natural medicine, and she also has a wellness academy. So again, thank you, ladies, for coming here and saying yes tonight. Thank you. So I'm going to start with you, Gina. The question for number one question, I'm just going to base this on around what specific modalities or techniques that you use in your holistic practice?
Me, Gina?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am, like you said, I am a certified life coach. More recently, I'm switching over into more lifestyle. I recently finished my certification in iridology, which we like to coin as a non-invasive MRI of the body. That basically gives us a scan of what's going on genetically in the body as well as what is going on presently in the body. And I like to put those things together because, as we know, holistic wellness is about the interconnectedness of the mind, body, emotional, and spiritual aspects of the whole person. So along with that, I'm also an energy healer, a Reiki master, and Sekhem energy healing master. So yes, ma'am. Those are the modalities that I feel strongest in and that I generally use in my day-to-day practice.
The same question go for you, Jamila.
So I use a wide variety of healing modalities, actually. So as an integrative healing arts practitioner, I actually am able to use quite a few modalities. So I use flower essences, which is basically just using the essence of the flower in tinctures, sprays, and things like that. It goes underneath the tongue, but the essence of the flower actually correlates to different emotions, different things that are physically present in the body. So that helps with healing. I'm a very big push on yoni steaming is one of my most pushed practices. I think our womb is our magic. and all women should definitely be steaming their womb. But I do life coaching, spiritual life coaching, because I am also an ordained minister. I do ear seeding, which is ear acupuncture, as well. And then, of course, hypnotherapy, which is one of my favorite things because I want to get you in full alignment in your mind, your body, and your spirit as well. But mental, our subconscious mind rules about 95% of our thought, our actions, actually. And using hypnosis to be able to tackle the root cause of a lot of what's ailing us, especially in our mind, is big for me, is very big for me in my practice.
Listen, as you can see, ladies, as you can see, we all in sync together here. This has brought us connected together because some of the similar things that you do, I do. The ear seeding, a lot of folks then don't believe, especially us, and things that are new. There are certain areas, meridian points that you have on your ears that can actually help with this. And when you talking about the hydrology, yes, I would love to do. That's like a basic, like you said, an MRI of what causing you the issues. But you know what I love what you said, Jamila? You said minister. Because check that out. Because we're gonna go there a little bit later. We're gonna go there a little bit later because yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of myths, a lot of stories. So in the practices that we do as non-traditional, practitioners, healing practitioners, holistic practitioners, there's a difference. There is a like difference with Western medicine. Would you guys say that it's more of the more beneficial way to saying that this is a practice that is holistically, not to say that you anti-medicine, because if you're sick, you might need it. But I think it can work as an intervention so we won't have to have those other things. So how would you explain that?
I actually think so. I'm not against medicine at all in any
Right.
way. I feel like it has its place for when we do need it. I actually also believe that sometimes the two can come together and they can work together as one. Sometimes you might need antibiotics, you just might need it. But there also could be other things like practicing mindfulness, practicing yoga that can help you maybe get off of some of your medications a little bit faster. So I do like to believe that they could work together. Now, if I had to make a choice, of course, I think holistic healing is better. Nature is the best medicine that we could ever give to our bodies. Our bodies are mostly water. We need water to live and thrive. There are so many things like fruits, vegetables, eating right, eating better for your body type, for your blood type. There are so many other alternative ways to Western medicine. That Western medicine doesn't always have to be your very first defense. That is really what I push to get people to understand. A lot of times we default to that because, I mean, honestly, we think the doctors know best. And in some situations, they might. But most times, you know better for what's for your body than anybody else. You've been living in your body the longest. You know your body the best. Sometimes just trusting intuition, it's always going to, most 9 times out of 10, lead you right back to nature because that's where we get our real healing from.
But you know what's so significant about that? Most medicines come from flowers.
Always.
Most medicines come
Yes.
from flowers that we don't grasp it as that way, but most medicines come from flowers. Most of it does. I mean, they add the other chemicals to it, but most of the medications that we get mostly comes from flowers. Same question for you, Jana.
Um, so for me, I agree 100% with Jamila. However, I think that each individual case, that is the difference between, in my opinion, between comprehensive medicine and holistic wellness in medicine, is that comprehensive medicine is generally a blanketed a blanketed practice that pretty much generalizes based on disease and symptomatic, and it's generally based in clinical research and theory. Whereas holistic wellness, we like to take the individual into consideration. So each case has its individual course. So, for instance, more recently, I've been getting into like thyroid health, hormone health. Every person that has a need for holistic wellness may not necessarily need in that moment CMOS. That's a very big thing in our community right now. Is a lot of holistic wellness practitioners are pushing CMOS, CMOS, CMOS. That is why I feel that in my practice, iridology is so important, is because that assessment allows me to know what goes on with each individual client on a personal basis to cater their holistic journey to them. And my motto, which I adapted from Dr. Ray, which is the founder of HPOC, Holistic Wellness Academy, is that basically you use the medicine until you don't need it anymore. Sick people need medicine. And so as you're making your transition into holistic wellness, there is often a need to rely on some of those conventional medicine structures that are in place until you don't need that, and you safely transition into
Okay, great, 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 great. So, as you just said, in the comprehensive of the medicine and the belief systems, um, now we're here to talk about philosophy against some of these, underlying philosophy of the belief behind holistic healing. So, I know as for me, I'm gonna give you a prime good example. So, I host a retreat every year over for the past 14 years. This was the 14th year. I done impacted not, I would say many women who come to this retreat. They come for their mind, the body, and the spirit, because it's called Warm Your Heart, Warm Your Mind, and Warm Your Soul. I integrate everything. I integrate something for your mind. I always have the clinical person on staff or whatever, because we do some things. The second, I do something for the body to get us moving, whether it's yoga or whatever else. And then we had the spirit. I use ministers and stuff to give you that soul care, right? Or that soul purposes. And then I have like interventions of stations for your overall wellness, right? So this year I was approached by a friend of mine who said that she invited someone to come, but they would not come because they noticed that I do sound baths. Okay, so here we go. So, belief systems. I heard something yesterday that I hope that the audience would take key to this. I know we all have our systems of different things that we have been accustomed to, but I will tell you to do your own research. Do your research. Just don't think because something. Look, Jamila came forward on that one. Do your own research, because what I want to say about some scientific things, such as, I had someone 2 weeks ago talk about yoga. Oh, well, you're praying to different gods and those different stances that you do. First of all, yoga is not a religion. Can I get some help on this? Who wants to take this away? Who wants to take this away? Go ahead.
I was delving into my yoga teacher certification and training. I did not complete it, however, I'm still very much qualified. But what I found during my tenure with the school that I was with is that there's a common misconception, like you said, that it is demonic, that it facilitates things that we shouldn't be doing within our community. However, yoga is consistent with breath work, postures,
Come on, bring it out. Bring it on, sis. Bring it on, sis.
and meditative practices that help an individual bring circulation, regulation to their mental and physical wellness, as well as different body systems within the body. And a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of conventional medicine taps into some of these things that we use as holistic practitioners. The disconnect for me was centered in some of the practices and the philosophies and the way that it is taught in mainstream practices today. When you think about yoga and somatic breathing and all the things that go with us, it doesn't look like us. And so within these structures, that is often where the misconception comes in with different belief systems and how we navigate through that process. And so that is something that I've been communicating and trying to work through with some of my clients or just family and friends that have the common misconceptions about yoga. It is not demonic. Um, I just think that the attachment more to the Ayurvedic and Hindu practices is where the misconception comes from. And I think, like you said, it is just very important for us as individuals to make sure that we're researching and making sure that we're asking the right questions and not just taking on assumptions about different, the various practices within that yoga modality.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Jamila, go ahead for me.
So not just yoga in particular, because I'm not really a yoga person. Nothing against it, just not my jive. I like Pilates. But holistic healthcare in general, it has a whole stigma behind it. When you want to introduce it to someone, typically they kind of put it in the realm of, oh, it's demonic or something of that sort, especially when you start talking about energy work and
Woo.
things like that.
Yes,
Um, Completely disregarding the fact that we are energy. Our bodies are energy. Our bodies are electric, so it's for me when I want to combat the misconceptions, just hit it with facts. It's literally we're energy. And
Yes,
to think that that is demonic, that would be calling yourself. Very much
absolutely.
so. That very thing. Everything has, like we were been talking about, everything has its place. But holistic healing, I mean, it's the fabric, the heartbeat of the planet, if we're being honest. And no matter what you practice, you could be Muslim, you could be Christian, you could be Catholic. You can bring your God, your creator, whoever it is that you believe into any practice that you choose. It doesn't have to be exactly what that person says it is. You can always take something and make it your own. Furthermore, meditations in the Bible, if we were having a touch on that, I mean, it's in the Bible. Metaphysics is in the Bible. It's all up and through that thing. So it's like when we're coming against those things, again, like I said, I just take it back to fact. Like we can talk about it and we can discuss it, but we're going to discuss it from a place of truth and not
Absolutely.
from a place of the lies that you heard, the lies that you tell yourself that it's in your head, and the fear that you've allowed yourself to develop behind those lies. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
that's my take on it.
You touched on something because I had someone too. Oh, you into the metaphysics and different. It's science.
It
It's
is.
back. It's basically science that was brought on through our Egyptians, our
Mhm.
Egyptian cultures. If you ever go, that was even before Jesus' time. So I'm
Yep.
just being real. So, we got to talk about the facts. When you're talking about the facts, and, you're talking about this stuff, but then, we can't, that's why I say it's possible. You got to do your research. Just don't accept, oh, that somebody said that this is wrong if you're dabbling in this or you dabbling in that. Now, I always tell people when they tell me about the sound, I go directly to the words when I talk about the sound. I tell them, was it not sound that brought down the walls of Jericho? See, look, I got amen corner over there. I got an amen corner over there.
Yeah.
Was it not sound that brought down the walls of Jericho? So then I go even deeper with them, right? I also express that Saul had a spirit that God gave, and David had the lyre. And when David played that lyre, what happened to that spirit? It released. No different than sound healing. When you're talking about breathing, that's just what you were talking about early, ladies. We talked about the scientific evidence. Someone, like I said, someone wanted to go argue back to back with me about yoga. Oh, you're praying to those different gods, those moves. Okay, but then you can't move. You have an inflammation. Well, here are some studies, scientific research, back to mind using some of the metaphysics. When we talk about mindfulness, and that is one of my deep studies. I do the sound, I do we do the deep breathing. I teach how to do the deep breathing. Studies, brain activity, it reduces stress. It's neuroscientific evidence is shown that if you use an MRI and I guarantee you, I know MRIs cost much, but start doing some regimens of some mindfulness or some type of yoga. And I guarantee you through the MRI, what you use in these practices have shown that it can change your brain structure. You wonder why some of you young people might be getting dementia, because it's probably because brain structures. We all stressed out. That could be some, you know what? We might have to do a little HPOC, little dissertation on that. That might be some reasons why people having dementia. Think about it. Brain structure, because what does dementia do? It changes the brain structure. Maybe just have some of that. Acupuncture, as you were saying. We have a lot of people who, again, we in an opioid crisis. So they said a lot of people were put on opioids due to having chronic pain. But acupuncture, as you said, ear seeding, as you said,
your life.
Yeah. And the joy of life in your ears. We talk about this, but then people will run from this type of stuff because it's us running from it. But people from the other cultures, they're on it. But we're still the disparity, So effective pain release, yoga, it's not a religion. It's just a practice. If you having problems getting out of bed or walking, get some balance. You having some balance. That's what it does. Flexibility. It increases your flexibility, strength. And also, guess what? It reduces the symptoms of stress. Now, when you go get your blood done, your blood work done, and you talk about, your biomarkers, your other biological markers, start doing using some herbal tinctures, medicines, different like that. That also can reduce your inflammation markers. So it's a whole lot of stuff that we got to say that is witchcraft, or it's just because we don't know about it. But here's the thing. I always tell people, they always tell us everything God made is good. He made those crystals.
Yes.
That's a whole lot. He made that crystal. That's part of his matter. That's the dirt. That comes from the dirt. Wait a minute. Oh gosh, I'm about to go off on this one right now. Just saying. And I'm an advocate for our community, but our community needs to get better. And that's just because you think about it. Then we talk about ancestors. Oh Lord, you say that word sometimes, but people get upset.
There's literally a whole, in Hebrews 11, right? He breaks down all of the people, all the ancestors, that their faith was credited to them as righteous. And those are ancestors. That's what they are.
Wow.
That's
what I'm telling you. Get understanding. So look, we get ready to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to delve into this a little bit more. But I want you to strictly pay attention to to this next, when we take this break, I really want you to sink in. I want you to like and share, and I want you to be an advocate tonight and share this. And if you know, write down some notes, ask us some questions, because that's why we're here. Because tomorrow night, you're really going to hear us tomorrow night when we go live about this. But we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. It's the exclusive tonight. I am here because the holistic practitioner healers are here to tell all. And we have another series that'll be coming out tomorrow night. You probably do not want to miss that. So I'm saying we are here giving out the facts. We're giving out some facts. We're backing it with evidence. We're just trying to help our community grow health holistically. Mind, the body, and the soul. So, Jamila, when you talked about the hypnotherapy, because you know what? We, whoa, you know what? Just, you have, look, here at Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, you have free reign. It's my show. It's my show. You have free reign because this is what this show is about. We are about giving inspiration. We're about giving the knowledge. And we also, because I love the community, I want to see us grow. And we have so much hostile stuff in our community. And it's not everywhere, and not everybody, but as a whole group, we're down on the below of the mark. And that's because we don't want to learn new things because we're so stuck in our standards of what the church, and let me say this, I am not bashing the church. I'm just trying to help us because we're having chronic diseases. We're dying from chronic diseases, which it is not. I learned this from Dr. Karen as well. Everything that happens to us in our community is a blood-borne disease.
Absolutely.
Am I right, sisters?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But get back to hypnotherapy. You know, if someone wants to think about, and we know that all that we do, even with your women wellness, there's an assessment because, like you said, it's very important that we get Yoni stigma. When I tell people about it, well, what's that? You know, the face, I get that. What's that? You know, this has been around long time, generational stuff. This has been around for such a long time. And I try to get, when I say, well, when was the last time you having menstrual cramps? Do you know there's certain flowers, there's certain herbs and stuff that you can take that actually can help that? You're going through menopause, my seasoned ladies, you're going through menopause. Do you not know there's certain teas and certain stuff, spiritual stuff, baths that you can use with different tinctures and have the different stuff to get a yoni steam? You'll feel so much better. pH balance. But let's delve into hypnotherapy.
Let's talk about it. So let's start with what the hypnosis is not. It's not what you saw on Get Out. You're not going to go to the sunken place, honey. I cannot replace your consciousness with somebody else's consciousness. I will not bury you so deep inside yourself you won't be able to find yourself again, okay? It's also not stage hypnosis. You cannot bark like a dog unless you want to bark like a dog. You will not quack like a duck unless you want to quack like a duck. I try to make it comical when I explain that to people because honestly, even myself, when I first prayed about my path in life and hypnosis came up, even I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not about to be letting nobody play in my head. It's not even that. The first thing to know is the powers that be. I'm trying to be, not get us sick down on Facebook, but they already know. We'll say they already know hypnosis works, and you are hypnotized practically every waking moment. You are easily hypnotized when you're listening to the radio and you're listening to those jingles, those commercials that convince you that you're hungry when you didn't even want to eat, that make you want to go to Jack in the Box when you don't even like Jack in the Box. Things like that. That's it. Those are all forms of hypnosis. When you are riding in your car and you arrive home, but you can't even figure out how you got home. That's a trance state. That's what hypnosis basically is. It's deep relaxation, but you're in more of a trance state. However, you are still in control. Your hypnotherapist, your hypnotist, their voice is only simply a guide. My voice is just here to guide you to bypass your conscious thoughts so that we can deal with your subconscious mind. That's all it is. So all the little fear, I can't hypnotize you by stirring in my teacup. I can't do any of those things unless you let me. And then the base, like as far as assessments goes, I do like to work with my clients and do suggestibility. It lets them know how easily suggestible they are, but also gives them an understanding about just how powerful their subconscious mind is. Like when your eyes are closed and we're talking about your hands holding a book, and the books are so heavy and they just keep getting heavier and heavier because I just keep putting more books and more books. And then your other hand is tied to a balloon and it's just light as air and it just keeps getting lighter and lighter. I love watching my clients open their eyes and discover how low one hand is and how high the other is. And it's like, oh my God, I felt it happening. It's like, I know you did because I saw you smile while you were doing it. And you were sitting here telling me, oh, I can't be hypnotized because I think too much because I'm so much in my head. And I say that you're a perfect candidate. You're so much
Okay.
in your head that it's time for us to get in there and unwind those thoughts, to reprogram, to rewire those things neurologically, but on the subconscious level, because that's where our trauma is rooted. Those are where all the lies that we told ourselves are that are truth, that we told ourselves are truth. That's where that all stems from. And it's really just helping you get inside of yourself so we can eradicate those self-limiting belief systems so that we can break free from generational trauma, from past relationship trauma, from personal trauma, from different things that you're dealing with on the inside that are keeping you from your everyday self, from living in the highest version of yourself, from living the very best life that you could possibly be living, but you don't know why you're afraid. Some things we don't even know that we're dealing with because it's generational. And so hypnosis can be used to explore that generational hurt, those generational fears, and really unlock your mind to all the possibilities that life has for you that are good things.
Yeah.
So when I am describing it, that's exactly how I describe it. And then I just like to dive right on in. But suggestibility testing is the best way. We want to know how our clients learn. I want to know how you think. I want to know how you relax. Do you need to be relaxed in your body first? Do I need to relax you in your mind? Because those who are always in their head, I do what I call head to feet progressive relaxation. But those of us who kind of live in our bodies and we're more aware of our bodies than we are of our own thought process, well, then I'm going to help you relax your body first, because when you're relaxed, you're more susceptible to the suggestions, but none of the suggestions that are made are suggestions that I come up with myself. We sit, we talk, we consult, we figure out what it is that you want to deal with under hypnosis. And we write suggestions or really positive affirmations. Really, that's how they're framed. But we come up with those things together. And if they don't align with you, well, then it's not going to align with your subconscious mind and it's not going to help you anyway. So hypnosis also, it's not going to change your life overnight. It doesn't work like that, but it does work over time. It's subtle changes. You don't have to have a hypnosis session often. I do not want to see you for 6 months. I don't want to even see you for a year. The goal is to help you heal yourself. And then I teach self hypnosis because we can hypnotize ourselves. You don't really need me. Okay. I'm just a facilitator. I'm not here to be needed. I just want you to want help and let me help you. And that's it. That's my only job. But I also teach self hypnosis so that my clients can continue to rewire and unwind their own mind, their own thoughts by themselves, and be surprised that it's just like meditating. You just meditate and you get yourself relaxed, and then you start saying positive affirmations to yourself. But instead, they're more like declarations over your life about how you want to change your thoughts or your actions. You can use hypnosis to stop smoking. You can use hypnosis to stop doing almost anything, to lose weight. The way that I do hypnosis, I refer out to all of those things that I just mentioned. I am a fertility hypnosis specialist. That is my specialty. It is supported and backed by science. When you couple hypnosis with IVF or wherever you're at in your fertility journey, you would be surprised how fast and how instantly you get pregnant. Because a lot of times infertility is rooted in subconscious fears. That's really rooted in that. It's honestly, most of my clients, it's rooted in subconscious fear. As soon as we figure out exactly what it is that they're afraid of, the next thing you know, they're pregnant.
You know what? You know what? See, I love this. This is so good because at work, I was just talking to someone who is going through IVF right now. So that is wonderful. And I'm thank you for sharing that because I always the person that I used to share a space with when I first started out in 8 years ago, yesterday was 8 years ago. I was in that was young, and I had forgot all about that's when I had started back with my business. But when you said about affirmations, yesterday I had a affirmation brunch where they made t-shirts to wear. And I think that means that, like you're saying, once you get that rooted word to you, that'll bring up your self-esteem. That's saying like who you are, and to have it planted on you, you wearing it, you should feel that thing, And what I loved about the exercise that she did, um, she said, wait a minute, like you saying, wait a minute. Think about it. Just don't rush to it, but go through the words and think about what word is capable for what you need, for your unique way. And I say everybody left with some great, great things. Everybody was excited. It was just a fun day. But I want to go back to when you said about water. And this is something else that I have been saying maybe for the past 3 months or so. When we talk about our bodies is a largely part made of water. And when we talking about being holistically well in our well-being, mind, body, and spirit, I often tell people, and I also worked in long-term care. If the moon moves water, why don't you think the moon will move you?
Absolutely.
If the moon moves the water, why don't you think? I guarantee you the next time you see a full moon, I want you to go out, go find it, go near somewhere to look at it and look at the water. And if it moves, and it is because the moon moves the water. Why do you think it won't move you? So what we're saying as holistic practitioners and healers, as you hear my guest here tonight, we're coming to you to tell you that there's a lot of stigma behind it, but it's very beneficial that you do your research commonly. And one thing I like what you said too, Jamila, when you said about you prayed about it. And Jamila's a minister. Okay. She's a minister. She gave us some scripture references. I'm just saying it is time that we stop thinking that everything is witchcraft or it's just because you've been told and you haven't did your research. Think about it. Think about people who tell you can't wear pants. You can't, if you can't wear pants. Whatever, but you're going back from the Old Testament, right? I said that Jesus came to save the world. That is all passed away once he did what he did on the cross. All right. I'm just saying. But when we talk about, and not to say I'm a person that do crystals, but I just want to say to those, again, we use biblical references. Like you said, a lot of these practices were done back in biblical times. Aaron's breastplate, 12 jewels.
Those crystals.
Was it not? Huh?
I said they was crystals.
Okay.
Yep.
Gina, am I talking right? Gina kind of quiet down there. Gina kind of quiet down there. I'm just saying.
I'll put it this way. I think that is one of the reasons that I chose holistic wellness once I came into the knowledge is one, you can meet your clients where they are. Like Jamila said, it doesn't matter what your current belief system is. Holistic wellness is for everyone. And as you talk about the biblical aspects from Christianity, when it pertains to the BIPOC community, what you have to remember is more specifically the Black community, um, is that through the transatlantic slave movement,
Tell
um,
it.
a lot
Speak
of
it.
our traditions and practices were taken away. And a lot of what we do today in the Christian church is a derivative of how our ancestors implemented these practices, these ATR practices, our traditional practices, into Christianity, which was a faith that was given to us. So a lot of the things that we do traditionally today, as we know it to be Christian faith and belief, really is holistic way of living, dressed in what most would consider to be new aged information.
There we go.
Um,
Mhm.
and so it is very important to first to kind of jump on your wagon of research is, what does the word tell us? The word tells us to study to show thyself approved.
Yeah.
And what I find often is that in our community, a lot of us haven't even read the word. We haven't picked up a concordance. We haven't picked up any literature outside, to do any additional readings and studying to be aware even of what we're practicing on a day-to-day basis. And this isn't to bash anyone, but it is to bring more of an awareness to what you're doing in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day faith, when you're communing with the Most High and doing, life as you know it. So the first thing that I tell my clients is to first tell me who you were, because a lot of us in what we're doing in our more faith studies and practices is what we've been taught at a family basis. And it's not
Mhm.
really personal, it's not what's best for us. And that's why a lot of us find ourselves as mature adults not in alignment with what we've learned over the years, and why life doesn't seem to quite fit what we're doing. So that's kind of my take on things.
Yeah, and you're talking right, because it's based upon what we've been taught. I often share this. For the past couple months, I've been sharing this. Like I'm glad that you brought up about the transatlantic slave, because I have a lot of people. I had this conversation again with the same person who was talking about yoga. They were like, "Oh, you just don't know what goes on in Africa and this and that, this and that." They do a lot of, well, okay, they may, but some of the treatments and stuff, as even down to our food, we were actually more of a vegetable eaten from the earth food, and it wasn't until we got to the slave quarters and they gave us the slops and all of that type of stuff. But then check this out, what's so funny about it, I know everybody in their background had that one aunt who had that ointment or whatever else that was an herbal ointment.
Mhm.
That's just it's folklore. A lot of folklore stuff. You can always, oh, well, get that aloe plant for that burn. Same type of thing. Same type of practice. Then you also can say, I will even go closer to this. We talking about the berries and how we're eating. But check this out. Slave master went down to those slave quarters to get that tea from Mumu Sai.
Yes, they did.
And come back with for that
Mhm.
cough syrup. But
Mhm.
then, because he probably was dabbling, giving her a couple few coins, but then those coins could have went to the more traditional doctor. Then that's when we said, oh, we got to stop this type of practice, or that's why we couldn't read. That's why this is witchcraft. So this is where all this comes from. It's
Mhm.
just that you got to know your research. Do your research behind this. It's not evil. When I see somebody who comes into my office with anxiety, I put on that frequency for calmness. And I shared this yesterday, the other day on a thing. What I see, the frequency 428, that's about love. We should listen to that every day.
Mm-hmm.
That frequency. There are 9 essential solfeggio frequencies for every type of thing that we might have going on. I'm just saying, you want to bring some calmness? Do you need to feel like you need a little bit more hope? Do you need some abundance? There is so many frequencies that's out here and again, frequency is nothing but sound. Everything that we do, you wouldn't be able to watch this tonight if it wasn't for a frequency.
Yep.
You wouldn't even be able to drive in your car if it wasn't some type of frequency that had to notate for that. I mean, we have to, in our community, I just say get educated. That's all I'm going to say after that tonight. Just get educated. Don't delve and think that everything is of the devil. When I know when someone comes in and I ding those sound bowls and that whole anxiety disappears, or when I give them a deep breathing exercise, it disappears. Or when I do a herbal foot soak, when I use the ionic foot detox, but I also make my own tincture for foot soak. When I hear someone tell me, oh my God, I had a pain in my foot, but now this feels so much better and my skin is so soft. When you make your own tinctures and stuff like that, it's just that we have to get educated. And that is one reason why I love HPOC. And I am so glad that, we have come together. We're the leadership team. We're the leadership team here. And we just trying to do for our community. Because we, as I can say, here is plenty of information for you. If you want to learn anything or just take a short course, because a couple of us here have short courses, here's where you need to go. If you want to get the information, there it is. Now, if you want to hear any more from my young ladies, because this is not to stop, because we'll get to see each other soon on a personal note, pretty soon, I am going to put their information up because one thing that I looked at yours, Jamila, I love what it's something that you said that really touched me, that I really think for our community about your vision. That's what it is.
Yes.
We perish because we don't have a vision also. It's just not because lack of knowledge, and that is too, but it's because we don't put the vision. What vision do you do not want to have to be holistic? Whole. We're just saying in your whole well-being, mind, your body, and your soul. But I like what you have about your vision. So Jamila Vision says, my vision is to inspire healing that starts at the root of the soul. That's it. That's all that hidden stuff.
That's beautiful.
That's all that hidden stuff, that traumatic stuff. That we have to come back again, ladies. We're gonna have to come back again and delve into, even like the issues, how they say your body keeps the score. Well, maybe some of these illnesses, these headaches, this arthritis we are having, it may be because of the fact that we're storing some stuff that we haven't released. But when you do some deep breathing, you get some somatic yoga, this type of stuff releases that type of stuff, or a good stretch, nice stretching. People doing stretching. Get that stuff out of you. Get that stuff out of you. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to bring forth healing. And with you, Gina, certified, you're doing holistic psychology. Now we're talking about the mind, the body, the soul. You got a wellness academy. That's what we need. We need more stuff like this. You are dedicated, helping people transform their lives to reach the ideal through holistic approaches. It says it all right here. It says it all right here. One, we get into the root of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we got to get that mind, because I always tell people all the time, if one thing is out of line, everything else is going to be out of line. Everything else is going to be out of line. And I got some comments coming in. Thank you, Tanya Sherwood. Thank you, Lisa Wilson. And thank you, Rashonda. My sister's on here. Thank you so much. And she says, and so many people refuse to read and do their own research. We just did a 10-minute segment talking about that one. That's it. That's it. I love the analogy that you said. Many of them that haven't even took the concordance to look at what the Greek or the Hebrew mean for what it says. That's what I'm talking about. But yet everything we always say it's the devil because we don't know.
Yep.
Get to the origin. As I
Mm-hmm.
said into the thing, get into the origin, get into the root of it. Now here's where you can find Gina. Here is her information. So, ladies, are we ready for tomorrow night?
Yes.
I am. I am.
I am ready. So tomorrow night, you want to look at the series. I thought it was very beneficial to have these ladies just give you a little sneak peek of stuff. We're not going to give you everything, but to give you a sneak peek about just what it is. We had to tell the story. Before now, tomorrow night, you can get more and fill out with more. Now, if you want to know some more about some of these practices, but we just wanted to give you a general information know about what's going to be happening. But ladies, before we go, is there something else that you want to say to the audience?
Well, thank you guys so much thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate you having me here today. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's come, who's listened, who's received. I hope that it helped you. I hope that it at least sparked an interest in you to encourage you to go and do your own research, find out for yourself what it is that you need to know. Go meditate and just take a moment and go within and just go with whatever aligns with your spirit. Follow your spirit. That's all.
And that's Minister Jamila talking. Let me put that behind. I don't even tell people that I am. I
I try
am
not
too.
to say
I
it, but
don't even
it's
tell.
like
I don't try
sometimes
to
we
tell people.
have to let
I
them
just
know that.
I just let them know I'm a healer. That's all that is. I'm here to inspire and heal. That's all. I don't really need to have to put that out there because it speaks for itself. So, and how about you, Miss Gina?
Yes. Thank you, Michelle, for having me on today. It's been a beautiful conversation. And to the audience, thank you for having us and sitting with us. And just remember, the most important relationship that you will ever have is with yourself. You have one life in this life form. Take care of your body, mind, and your spirit. Do the things that you know that you should do. If you have questions, reach out. There's so much information. If you don't know the way, one of us will be very glad to show you how to start your process on your journey to wellness. In the famous words of Dr. Ray, we heal ourselves, we heal our communities. We definitely have to get back to our tribal ways, our community ways, our family ways, and healing one another.
All right. So, audience, you have heard it here on the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul exclusive. These ladies will be back. We're gonna brainstorm after this show about what else we can bring out on this for the community. Again, ladies, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, sharing this exclusive before we delve into tomorrow. And I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of resting before tomorrow because as y'all can see, I got fired up there for a little bit. Because that's my passion. That is my passion. And you telling people, and we know again, lack of knowledge. And we're just so stuck in our ways and not they talk about it's new age, but it's just permanent healing for me. I always tell people I know who I am. Y'all sing that song in church all the time. I know who I am. You sing that. You sing that. I am who I am. This is when we're talking about the I am. He works through us. And what you were talking about, Ricky, Gina, I just look at it as the healing of hands.
Mm-hmm. Laying of the hands is what it's called.
Laying of the hands. Laying of the hands. And it tells you that. If someone is sick, call the elders. And what did he do? Bring them forth. Laying of the hands. I'm just saying, I'm not going to give no more sermon, but look, we're about to roll out again. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight to our exclusive. And look, we will see you tomorrow night. And this coming Tuesday, we have Yvette the singer who will be coming up. I have one more comment from my sis. She said, our great grandparents, aunts, and uncles use those home remedies and they work well when I was young and growing up. Exactly. So, ladies, we're going to sign off tonight. And again, we thank you so much for the audience, for tuning in, for all your comments. And we look forward to seeing you in Tuesday. So again, thank you everyone and have a blessed week.